Welcome, dear listener. Tonight we embark on a journey together. A journey not of urgency or alarm, but of wonder and rest. You've found your way here, to this quiet place, and that's exactly where you need to be. As you settle into wherever you are, your bed, your couch, your favorite chair, let your body begin to soften. Feel the weight of your head against the pillow. Notice how your shoulders can drop just a little more with each breath you take. There's nowhere else you need to be right now. Nothing you need to do, just breathe and listen and let go. Tonight, we'll drift together into the story of Three-Eye Atlas, a visitor from beyond our solar system, a wanderer through the cosmic dark. But this isn't a story of fear or alarm. It's a story of beauty, of mystery, of the universe quietly revealing itself to us as we float through the night sky of our imagination. You don't need to follow every word. You don't need to remember every detail. Simply let the story carry you like a gentle current in a warm ocean into the deep waters of rest. If you drift away from my voice, that's perfect. If you find yourself somewhere between waking and sleeping, that's exactly where this story wants to take you. Imagine, if you will, the night sky above you, not the sky you see from the city, but the sky as it truly is, endless, dark, scattered with millions of points of light, stars beyond counting, mysteries beyond measure. And somewhere out there, moving through that infinite darkness, is our visitor, our traveler, our gentle companion for tonight's journey. Before we begin, if this journey brings you peace, if you find rest here in these words, please like and subscribe to this channel. And in the comments below, share with me, which country are you listening from and at what time? It's beautiful to know that all across this world, under the same stars, people are finding their way to rest together. Now let your eyes close if they haven't already. Let your breathing slow, and let us begin. Once upon a time, not so very long ago really, something appeared in our sky that had never been there before. It wasn't loud, it didn't announce itself, it simply arrived. The way morning mist arrives in a valley, the way moonlight arrives in a window, quietly, inevitably, beautiful. Astronomers, those patient watchers of the night, noticed it first. On August 28, 2024, their instruments, those careful eyes we've placed in the dark, caught sight of something moving against the background of stars, something that didn't belong to our solar family, something from elsewhere. They named it Three-Eye Atlas. A simple name, really. The I stands for interstellar, a traveler between the stars. Atlas for the survey system that first spotted it. But names are just words. What matters is the thing itself. Imagine drifting above the Earth now in your mind. You're floating in the comfortable darkness of space, looking down at our blue and white marbles spinning below. Everything is peaceful, everything is slow. And now turn your attention outward, away from Earth, away from the familiar. There, coming toward us through the deep black, is a visitor. Not rushing, not threatening, just traveling. The way a bird travels across the sky, the way a leaf travels down a stream, following the invisible currents of gravity that flow between the stars like rivers flow between mountains. Three-Eye Atlas is small, small in the cosmic sense, perhaps half a mile across or maybe less. We don't know exactly, and that's all right. Not everything needs to be precisely measured. Some things are allowed to remain soft around the edges, mysterious, dreamlike. As it moves through space, it's surrounded by something beautiful. A cloud of gas and dust glowing faintly in the sunlight. We call this a coma, from the Latin word for hair. Because that's what it looks like, doesn't it? Long flowing hair, trailing behind a traveler on a journey. Ethereal, delicate, like breath made visible on a cold morning. Picture yourself drifting closer to this visitor now, Not too close, just close enough to appreciate its quiet beauty. The way it catches the light, the way it moves through the darkness with such patient grace. It's been traveling for a very long time. Longer than human civilizations have existed. Longer than our ancestors looked up at the stars and wondered. It's been moving through the cold and dark between the stars, through regions where no sunlight reaches, where the temperature is almost absolute zero, where silence is complete and total. And now, for just a brief moment in cosmic time, it's passing through our neighborhood, our little corner of the galaxy. It's come to visit in a way. Not intentionally, the universe doesn't plan these things. But it's here nonetheless, and we're here to witness it, and there's something profound in that coincidence. Let your breathing match the rhythm of its journey now. Slow, steady, endless, in and out like the rise and fall of distant tides, in and out like the expansion and contraction of space itself. This visitor, 3I Atlas, is only the third interstellar object we've ever definitively identified passing through our solar system, the third in all of human history that we've been able to see and track and study. Doesn't that make it special? Doesn't that make this moment right now, as you listen and drift and rest, part of something rare and beautiful? The first visitor we noticed was Oumuamua in 2017, a strange, elongated object tumbling through space, gone before we could study it properly. The second was Borisov in 2019, more comet-like, more familiar, but still exotic, still from elsewhere. And now 3I Atlas, our newest visitor, our most recent gift from the galaxy beyond. Feel how special this is, but don't let that specialness create tension. Instead, let it deepen your relaxation. You're part of a universe that sends gifts like this. You're part of a cosmos that delivers wonders to our doorstep. You're floating in a reality where such beautiful, impossible things happen all the time. The photos we've received, and we'll talk more about those as our journey continues, show something that astronomers found both expected and surprising. But we're not worried about that now. We're just here, drifting alongside this traveler, appreciating its presence, letting its patient journey through the stars soothe us into deeper rest. As 3I Atlas moves, it follows a path determined by gravity. The sun's gravity, yes, but also the gravity of every star it's ever passed, every massive object that's ever influenced its trajectory. It's following a line that was drawn millions of years ago, perhaps billions, by forces we can barely comprehend. And yet there's nothing frightening in that. There's something deeply peaceful in it, actually. The idea that the universe operates by such elegant rules, that an object can travel for eons and arrive exactly where mathematics said it would arrive, and do exactly what physics said it would do. Let yourself be carried by those same inevitable forces now. Gravity pulling you deeper into your bed, the weight of your body, so comfortable, so heavy. The pull of sleep, gentle but inexorable, drawing you down into rest. You're safe here. You're exactly where you need to be. And 3I Atlas is exactly where it needs to be. Everything is unfolding perfectly according to the quiet laws that govern all things. Breathe in the darkness of space. Breathe out the tensions of the day. Breathe in the mystery. Breathe out the need to understand everything right now. There's time. There's always time. The universe has been here for billions of years, and it will be here for billions more. And right now, in this moment, you and 3I Atlas are sharing the same moment in time. You're both here. You're both traveling. You're both exactly where you need to be. Let's talk about comets for a while. Not in a technical way, we're past the need for technical things tonight, but in the way you might talk about old friends, or familiar sights, or the comfort of understanding something beautiful. Comets have been visiting us since before humans existed, since before Earth had its first oceans, since the solar system itself was young and still figuring out how to be. They've always been here, these wanderers, these travelers from the outer reaches. Most comets we know come from two places. The first is the Kuiper Belt, a vast ring of icy bodies beyond Neptune, stretching out into the cold and dark. Imagine a ring of frozen stones, each one patiently orbiting, waiting. Sometimes something disturbs one, a gravitational nudge, a cosmic coincidence, and it falls inward toward the sun, toward warmth and light. The second place is even more distant, the Oort cloud, a sphere of icy objects surrounding our entire solar system like a shell, so far away that light from the sun barely reaches there, so far away that the sun is just another star in the sky. These objects orbit so slowly, so patiently, that a single orbit takes millions of years. Both of these places, the Kuiper Belt and the Oort cloud, belong to our sun. They're part of our solar family. Objects from there are native to our system, even if we don't see them often. But 3I Atlas is different. It comes from none of these places. It comes from between the stars. Let that sink in for a moment gently, the way you might let yourself sink deeper into your pillow. Between the stars. Not from any planetary system we can point to. Not from any sun we can name, just from out there. From the spaces between. The galaxy is vast, so vast that the word vast doesn't begin to capture it. Between the stars there is mostly emptiness, mostly cold, mostly silence, but not entirely emptiness. Scattered through that darkness are objects like 3I Atlas, wanderers, orphans perhaps, or pioneers, traveling alone through the cosmic night. How does something become an interstellar traveler? There are a few ways, and each one tells a story. Perhaps 3I Atlas was once part of a planetary system like ours. It orbited a distant star, lived in the comfortable cold of that star's outer reaches. But something happened. Perhaps a planet grew too large, its gravity too strong, and it flung 3I Atlas outward. A cosmic ejection. Not cruel. The universe doesn't do things cruelly. Just physics, inevitable, natural. Or perhaps the star itself disappeared. Stars don't live forever after all. They burn their fuel, and when it's gone, they change. Some explode, some collapse, some simply fade away. And when a star dies, its family scatters. The planets, the comets, the asteroids, all of them cast out into the galaxy, orphaned, left to wander. Either way, 3I Atlas found itself alone, not attached to any star, not bound by any sun, free in a sense, free to travel wherever gravity and momentum would take it. And it traveled for a very long time. Imagine that journey now, not as something to feel sad about, but as something beautiful in its own way. Imagine drifting through the darkness, silent, patient, with nothing but time. No urgency, no destination. Just movement through the infinite. Years pass, decades, centuries, millennia, eons. Time loses meaning when you're between the stars. There's no day or night, no seasons, no change at all really, except the slow shift of distant stars as you move past them. And then, eventually, inevitably, you approach another star. Our star, our sun. Not because you aimed for it, not because you planned it, but because in an infinite universe, all things that can happen eventually do. As 3I Atlas approached our solar system, it began to feel the sun's gravity. Subtle at first, just a gentle tug, a slight change in trajectory. But as it drew closer, that pull grew stronger. The sun's warmth, still distant but present, began to have an effect. This is where the magic happens. This is where a dark piece of ice and rock, silent for millions of years, begins to wake up. The ice, water ice, carbon dioxide ice, other frozen gases, begins to sublimate. That's a beautiful word, isn't it? Sublimate. It means to turn directly from solid to gas without ever being liquid, like frost disappearing from a window in winter sunlight. There one moment, gone the next. transformed into invisible vapor. As the ice sublimates, it carries dust with it, tiny particles smaller than grains of sand that were frozen in the ice for all those long years. These particles catch the sunlight and scatter it, creating a glow, a halo. That beautiful coma we talked about earlier, this is what transforms a dark, invisible piece of ice into a comet. This interaction with a star, this moment of awakening, it's like watching someone open their eyes after a long sleep, watching them blink in the light, watching them begin to glow. And that's what we've been watching with 3i Atlas. We've been witnessing its awakening, its transformation, its moment of being seen. The science behind all of this is elegant, really. It's all just physics, gravity, heat, sublimation, light. But when you step back and look at the whole picture, it's more like poetry. It's a dance between ice and sunlight, a conversation between an object from the deep dark and the bright warmth of a star. You don't need to understand all the details. You don't need to remember the physics. Just hold the image in your mind, something dark becoming light, something cold becoming warm, something invisible becoming visible. It's a metaphor for so many things, isn't it? For awakening, for transformation, for being seen. Let that metaphor settle over you now like a warm blanket. You too are in a process of transformation, from waking to sleeping, from tension to rest, from thought to dream. And it's just as natural, just as inevitable, just as beautiful as what's happening to 3i Atlas out there in the darkness. Breathe in the warmth, breathe out the cold, breathe in the light, breathe out the darkness, not because one is better than the other, but because both are part of the cycle, both are necessary, both are beautiful. The photos we've taken show this process happening in real time. We can see the coma forming. We can measure how much ice is sublimating. We can track how the comet's brightness is changing as it approaches the sun. It's all being documented, all being studied, all being understood a little better. But understanding doesn't diminish wonder. If anything, it deepens it. Because now we know that this process, this awakening, happens all across the galaxy. We know that at any given moment, countless objects like 3i Atlas are making their own journeys, having their own encounters with distant stars, experiencing their own transformations. We're not alone in our experience of change and awakening. Even the cosmos experiences it. Even the cold and silent dark sometimes comes into the light. And that's comforting, isn't it? To know that transformation is universal, that change is built into the very fabric of reality, that nothing stays the same forever, and that's not something to fear. It's just the way things are, the way things have always been, the way things will always be. Let yourself change now. Let yourself transform from waking to sleeping. It's as natural as ice becoming vapor, as darkness becoming light, as silence becoming song. You're doing perfectly. You're exactly where you need to be in this process. There's no rush. There's no pressure. Just like 3i Atlas has all the time in the universe to make its journey, you have all the time you need to find your rest. Drift now. Drift like a comet through space. Drift like vapor in the light. Drift like breath in the darkness. Drift and let the journey take you wherever it needs to go. As our journey continues, as you drift deeper into rest, let's explore what makes 3i Atlas so special, what makes it worthy of our attention on this quiet night, what makes it beautiful. The photos came in slowly at first. Telescopes around the world and in space turned their attention to this visitor. Patient observers gathering light photon by photon, building up images from the darkness. And what they saw was both expected and surprising. A paradox, but a gentle one, the kind that invites curiosity rather than concern. They expected to see a comet, a head, the nucleus, surrounded by a fuzzy coma of gas and dust. perhaps a tail beginning to form as the solar wind pushed the sublimated material away from the sun. All the usual features of a comet waking up. And they did see these things, but they also saw something else, something that didn't quite fit the pattern, something that whispered quietly, "I am not entirely what you think I am." Don't let this create tension. We're not here for tension tonight. We're here for wonder, for mystery, for the comfortable unknown. Think of it like finding an unexpected flower in a familiar garden. Surprising, yes, but beautifully so. The activity of Three-Eye Atlas, the way its coma forms, the way it brightens, the way it changes, doesn't match perfectly with what we see from comets native to our solar system. It's similar, yes, close, but not identical. Imagine two songs played on the same instrument. They might sound similar, the same notes, the same rhythms, but there's something in the tone, something in the resonance that tells you they're not quite the same. That's what astronomers are hearing when they study Three-Eye Atlas, a familiar song but played in a slightly different key. This difference could tell us something profound. It might tell us about the composition of objects from other stellar systems, about how they form differently around different stars, about what materials are common across the galaxy and which are unique to individual solar systems. In other words, Three-Eye Atlas is a messenger. It's carrying information from elsewhere, from places we'll never visit, from stars we'll never orbit. It's bringing us news from the galaxy beyond, and it's doing so just by being itself, just by existing, just by passing through. There's something deeply peaceful about that idea, that we don't have to go out there to learn about the universe. Sometimes the universe comes to us. Sometimes knowledge arrives on our doorstep, carried by travelers we never expected to meet. As you rest here, in this moment, imagine that you too are receiving messages from far away, from parts of yourself you don't usually visit, from memories and dreams that have been traveling through your inner darkness, waiting for this moment to arrive, this moment of rest, this moment of openness. Let them come, let them arrive. Don't analyze them, don't judge them, just notice them the way astronomers notice Three-Eye Atlas, with curiosity, with wonder, with gentle attention. The photos show something else interesting. The shape of the coma isn't perfectly symmetrical. It's slightly lopsided, slightly irregular. This tells us that the nucleus, the solid heart of Three-Eye Atlas, isn't a perfect sphere. It's probably irregular, lumpy, shaped by billions of years of random collisions and events. And as it spins, which it almost certainly does, like almost everything in space, different parts of its surface face the sun at different times. Different ices sublimate, different amounts of dust are released. The coma shifts and changes, breathing in and out with the rotation. Picture this in your mind, a dark, irregular chunk of ice tumbling slowly through space. As it tumbles, sunlight touches first one side, then another. Here, a pocket of volatile ice sublimates quickly, releasing a jet of gas. There, more stable ice barely reacts. The result is asymmetric, organic, alive in a sense. It's rotating perhaps once every few hours, or perhaps every few days. We don't know exactly yet. But imagine it now, tumbling in the darkness. A slow and patient spin that's been continuing for millions of years. As you imagine this, notice your own breathing, in and out, in and out. Another kind of rotation, another kind of rhythm. Your body has its cycles too, your heart beats, your lungs expand and contract. You're not so different from Three-Eye Atlas, really. Both of you are following the rhythms built into your structure. Both of you are doing what comes naturally. The timeline of Three-Eye Atlas's visit is worth noting, though not in a way that creates urgency. We have time. Everything has time. It was discovered in late August 2024. By September, more telescopes had joined the observation campaign. By October, the photos were becoming clearer, the data more detailed. By now, in late 2025, we have months of observations. We've watched it approach, we've watched it change, we've watched it reveal itself slowly, night by night. It reached its closest point to the Sun, perihelion, in January 2025. That's when the activity peaked. That's when the coma was brightest, when the most ice was sublimating, when 3I Atlas was most awake. Now it's heading back out, back toward the darkness, back toward the cold. The Sun's warmth is fading behind it. The activity is declining, the glow is dimming. It's falling asleep again, in a sense, returning to the long silence it knew before. But it will never be exactly as it was. The encounter with our Sun changed it, stripped away some of its ice, released some of its dust. When it returns to the darkness between stars, it will be a little smaller, a little different. Marked by this encounter, we are all changed by our encounters, aren't we? Every experience, every moment, every breath changes us in some small way. We're not the same people we were yesterday or an hour ago or when this story began. We're constantly being reshaped by our journeys, just like 3I Atlas. And that's beautiful. That's how growth happens. That's how we become who we're meant to be. The trajectory of 3I Atlas is hyperbolic. That's a technical term, but it has a simple meaning. It's not bound to the Sun. It's not in a closed orbit. It came from the outside, swung around the Sun in a gentle curve, and now it's heading back out to the outside. A one-time visit, a brief hello. In a few years, it will pass beyond the orbits of the outer planets. In a few decades, it will be beyond the Kuiper Belt. In a century or two, it will be back in interstellar space, dark again, silent again, invisible to any telescope. But somewhere, eventually, it might pass another star, might have another awakening, might glow again in someone else's sky, if there's someone there to see it. The universe is full of these maybes and might-bes, these possibilities that exist in the vast spaces between certainties. And that's all right, that's part of the beauty. Not everything needs to be known, not everything needs to be certain. As you drift now, let yourself exist in that space of maybe and might be. You might fall asleep soon, you might stay in this twilight state for a while longer, you might hear every word of this story, or you might drift away and return in and out like waves on a shore. All of these are perfect. All of these are exactly right. There's no wrong way to experience this journey. The photos of 3I Atlas, the ones that proved what we feared all along, though that's a dramatic way to put it, and we're not about drama tonight, what they really show is confirmation. Confirmation that interstellar objects are different. Confirmation that the galaxy beyond our solar system operates in slightly different ways. Confirmation that there's still mystery out there, still things to learn, still surprises waiting in the darkness. And isn't that wonderful? To live in a universe that still has surprises for us, to exist in a reality that hasn't revealed all its secrets, to be part of a cosmos that's still teaching us, still showing us new things, still inviting us to wonder. Let that sense of wonder fill you now. Not an excited wonder that creates alertness, but a deep, peaceful wonder. The kind of wonder you feel looking at stars on a clear night. The kind of wonder that makes you feel small and vast at the same time. Connected to something infinite. Part of something beyond comprehension. You are part of this story. You are part of this universe. You are made of the same materials as 3I Atlas. Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen. You obey the same laws of physics. You're subject to the same forces. You're traveling through space on this planet just as 3I Atlas travels through space on its solitary journey. You're both travelers, both wanderers, both exactly where you need to be, doing exactly what you need to do. Rest in that knowledge, rest in that connection, rest in the certainty that you belong here, in this moment, in this universe, in this comfortable darkness that's gathering around you like a welcoming embrace. The mystery of Three-Eye Atlas isn't frightening, it's gentle. It's an invitation to remain curious, to stay open, to keep looking up at the night sky with wonder. And as you drift deeper into rest, carry that wonder with you. Carry it into your dreams. Let it color your sleep with starlight and cosmic dust, with ancient ice and patient journeys, with the quiet beauty of things that travel alone through the darkness and still find their way home. Now we drift deeper. Now we let ourselves float further into the story, further into rest, further into the comfortable unknown. There's something special about Three-Eye Atlas that sets it apart not just from solar system comets, but from the other interstellar visitors we've encountered. Something subtle, something that only reveals itself when you look closely, when you're patient, when you're willing to sit with the mystery for a while. Remember Oumuamua, that first interstellar visitor from 2017? It was strange in many ways. Its shape was elongated, tumbling. It accelerated away from the sun in a way that couldn't be explained by gravity alone. Something was pushing it, some kind of outgassing perhaps, though we saw no coma, no tail, no obvious signs of this. It sparked debates, conversations, even wild speculations. It was gone before we could study it properly, leaving behind more questions than answers. A mystery wrapped in darkness, tumbling back into the spaces between stars. Then came Borisov in 2019, much more comet-like, much more familiar. It had a clear coma, a developing tail. It behaved largely as expected. It was exotic because of where it came from, but not particularly mysterious in its behavior. We understood Borisov, it made sense, and now Three-Eye Atlas. And Three-Eye Atlas is different in a way that's harder to define. Not strange like Oumuamua, not familiar like Borisov, something in between, something that hints at depths we haven't yet explored. The mystery, the gentle mystery, the one that invites rather than alarms, is in the details of its activity, in the specific way its brightness changes, in the particular composition of its coma, in the subtle ways it doesn't quite match our expectations. Let's talk about volatility for a moment. That's what astronomers call the property of how easily something sublimates, how readily it turns from solid to gas. Water ice sublimates at a certain temperature. Carbon dioxide ice at another lower temperature, carbon monoxide at an even lower temperature still. Different comets have different mixtures of these ices. Solar system comets formed in the cold outer reaches of our system billions of years ago have a certain typical composition. They're dominated by water ice, with smaller amounts of other ices mixed in, but Three-Eye Atlas seems to have a different balance. The specific volatiles it's releasing, the particular way it brightens and dims as it approaches and recedes from the sun, suggests a composition that's subtly different from what we're used to seeing. This makes sense when you think about it. Three-Eye Atlas formed around a different star. Perhaps that star was hotter or cooler than our sun. Perhaps the disk of dust and gas from which Three-Eye Atlas condensed had a different composition. Perhaps the chemistry of that distant solar system followed slightly different paths than the chemistry of ours. In other words, Three-Eye Atlas is giving us our first detailed look at the chemistry of another solar system. It's a sample return mission that we didn't have to launch. A piece of elsewhere delivered to our doorstep, waiting to be studied. Imagine that. Imagine if you found a message in a bottle washed up on a beach. But instead of paper with writing, the bottle itself is the message. The glass it's made from, the sand that was melted to create it, tells you about the beach where it originated, about the rocks and shells and minerals present there, about the forces and processes that shaped that distant shore. That's what Three-Eye Atlas is, a message in a bottle from another beach, another shore on the infinite ocean of space. As you rest here, imagine yourself as a kind of beach where messages wash up. Thoughts, memories, sensations, they arrive like bottles in the surf. Some are from nearby, from today, from this week, from recent experiences, but some are from much further away, from childhood, from dreams, From places in yourself you haven't visited in years, let them wash up, let them arrive. Don't try to open every bottle, don't try to read every message. Just notice them, the way we notice 3i Atlas, with gentle curiosity, with patient attention, knowing that each one has traveled a long way to be here. The photos of 3i Atlas show another interesting feature. The coma, that fuzzy cloud of gas and dust, has structure. It's not just a uniform haze. There are brighter regions and darker regions. There are hints of jets or streamers, places where material is being released more actively. This structure tells us about the surface of the nucleus, about where the more volatile ices are located, about how the rotation of the nucleus affects which regions face the sun at which times. Picture it now in your mind's eye, a dark, irregular shape at the center. From certain areas on its surface, plumes of gas and dust rise up, catching the sunlight, creating bright fans or jets. These jets shift and change as the nucleus rotates, creating a dynamic, ever-changing coma. It's almost like watching breath made visible. You exhale on a cold morning and see your breath as mist. It swirls and dissipates, unique every time, shaped by invisible currents of air and the specific temperature and moisture of that moment. 3i Atlas is exhaling into space, breathing out its ancient ices into the warmth of our sun. Each breath is different. Each moment creates a new pattern, and we're here watching, witnessing, participating in this cosmic respiration. Match your breathing to this image now. Breathe out, imagining gas and dust rising from an icy surface. Breathe in, imagining the quiet pause between breaths, the moment of stillness before the cycle begins again. In through the darkness, out into the light, in through the cold, out into the warmth. Each breath is a miniature version of what's happening out there in space. Each breath connects you to 3i Atlas, to its journey, to its transformation. The scientists studying 3i Atlas are being careful. They're collecting data, running analyses, comparing observations. They're not rushing to conclusions. They're sitting with the mystery, getting to know it, letting it reveal itself in its own time. This is how all good understanding develops. Not through forcing or rushing, but through patience, through sustained attention, through willingness to not know for a while, to live in the questions, to let answers emerge naturally. You can apply this approach to anything in your life, to problems you're facing, to decisions you need to make, to understanding yourself or others. Sometimes the best thing to do is to sit with the mystery for a while, to observe, to be patient, to trust that clarity will come when it's ready. Right now, you don't need to solve anything. You don't need to figure anything out. You don't even need to stay awake. You can let yourself sit with the mystery of this moment, the space between waking and sleeping, and trust that your body and mind know what to do. They do know. They've been doing this your whole life. Every night you make this transition, and every night your system knows exactly how to let go, how to shift gears, how to drift into the restorative darkness of sleep. Trust that process now. Trust it the way you'd trust a river to flow downhill, a stone to sink in water, a leaf to fall in autumn. These things happen not because they're forced, but because they're in harmony with natural law, because they're following the path of least resistance, because it's simply what happens next. Letting go is what happens next for you. Drifting deeper is what happens next. Not because you're making it happen, but because you're allowing it to happen. There's a difference, and it's an important one. You're not doing anything wrong if you're still aware of my voice. You're not failing at rest. You're simply in the process, exactly where you are in the process. And that's perfect. 3i Atlas didn't rush into our solar system. It didn't force its way through. It simply followed its trajectory, allowed gravity to guide it, trusted the mathematics of momentum and attraction. And look where it ended up, exactly where it needed to be, exactly when it needed to be there. You too are following a trajectory, from waking to sleeping, from tension to release, from thought to dream. The mathematics of your nervous system, the physics of your neurobiology are guiding you. All you have to do is allow it. All you have to do is trust. The mystery of Three-Eye Atlas, why its composition is different, what that tells us about other solar systems, what other surprises it might hold, will continue to unfold over the coming months and years. Scientists will publish papers, telescopes will gather more data, understanding will gradually deepen. But tonight, we don't need to rush to that understanding. Tonight we can simply rest in the mystery. We can appreciate the not knowing. We can find peace in the questions. Because sometimes the questions are more beautiful than the answers. Sometimes the journey is more important than the destination. Sometimes the mystery itself is the gift. Let yourself receive that gift now. The gift of not needing to know everything. The gift of being comfortable with uncertainty. The gift of resting in the vast, dark spaces between the stars, where mysteries live and thrive and wait patiently to reveal themselves when the time is right. You're doing beautifully. You're drifting perfectly. You're exactly where you need to be on this journey through the night, this voyage alongside Three-Eye Atlas, this gentle descent into the comfortable unknown of sleep. There's a rhythm to everything, a pulse, a pattern that repeats endlessly, patiently, without ever tiring. The universe breathes, you breathe. Three-Eye Atlas breathes in its own way, releasing gas and dust in cycles tied to its rotation, tied to its distance from the sun, tied to invisible forces we're only beginning to understand. Everything pulses, everything flows, nothing is truly still. Your heart beats right now in your chest. That faithful muscle is contracting and releasing, contracting and releasing. It's been doing this since before you were born, since you were just a collection of cells learning how to be a person. And it will continue until your story in this body is complete. 60, 70, 80 times a minute, thousands of times an hour, millions of times a year, billions of times in a lifetime, an endless rhythm, a patient drumbeat, keeping time for the song of your existence. Feel it now if you can. Not by reaching for it, but by simply noticing. That subtle pulse, that quiet rhythm, your body's own tide, flowing in and out, in and out. Three-Eye Atlas has its rhythms too, the rotation of its nucleus, hours or days for one complete turn. The sublimation of its ices, increasing as it approaches the sun, decreasing as it recedes. The expansion of its coma, breathing out into space, pulsing with each rotation as different regions face the light. These rhythms are slower than yours, much slower. But they're no less real, no less fundamental. The universe doesn't care about the speed of the rhythm. It cares only that the rhythm exists, that the pattern continues, that the dance goes on. There are faster rhythms too, the vibration of atoms, the oscillation of light waves, the spin of electrons around atomic nuclei. These happen so quickly that they're invisible to us, incomprehensible in their speed. Billions of cycles per second. And there are slower rhythms, the orbit of planets, the precession of Earth's axis, the rotation of the galaxy. These take years, centuries, millions of years to complete a single cycle, but they're all rhythms, all patterns, all part of the same cosmic music. And you, resting here in this moment, are part of that music. Your breathing is one instrument, your heartbeat another. The electrical rhythms of your brain, alpha waves, theta waves, delta waves, are playing their own melody. As you drift deeper into rest, those brain rhythms slow. The fast beta waves of waking consciousness give way to the gentler alpha waves of relaxation, then the even slower theta waves of drowsiness. Eventually, if you allow it, the deep, slow delta waves of profound sleep. This is your own journey inward, your own voyage from light to darkness, from activity to rest, from complexity to simplicity. It mirrors 3i Atlas's journey in a way. It came from the simple darkness of interstellar space. It entered the complexity and light of our solar system. And now it's returning to darkness, to simplicity, to the long quiet of the spaces between. You're returning to the darkness behind your closed eyes, to the simplicity of just being, without thinking or doing or planning, to the quiet that lives beneath all the noise of daily life. This return is natural. It happens every day, or should. It's how we restore ourselves, how we process and integrate our experiences, how we let go of what we don't need and hold on to what we do. Imagine waves on a beach again. Each wave comes in. That's your waking day, full of activity and stimulation and experience. And then each wave goes out. That's your rest, your sleep, your return to the ocean. In, out, in, out. The rhythm continues day after day, year after year, reliable as the tide. The tide itself is a rhythm, of course, caused by the moon's gravity pulling on Earth's oceans. High tide, low tide, high tide, low tide. A pattern that's been continuing for billions of years since Earth first had oceans to pull on. The moon orbits Earth. Earth orbits the sun. The sun orbits the center of the galaxy. The galaxy moves through space as part of a cluster of galaxies. Everything is in motion. Everything is following its path. And all of these motions create rhythms, patterns, cycles. Day and night, Earth's rotation, the seasons, Earth's orbit around the sun, the phases of the moon's orbit around Earth, the ice ages, long cycles in Earth's orbit and axial tilt, layer upon layer of rhythm, pattern within pattern within pattern. And you're woven into all of these patterns, you evolved within them. Your body knows them intimately, even if your conscious mind doesn't think about them. You sleep when it's dark, as your ancestors did for millions of years. You wake when it's light. Your body temperature rises and falls with a circadian rhythm. Your hormones surge and ebb according to ancient patterns. You're not separate from the cosmos. You're not observing it from outside. You're made of it. You're part of it. The same forces that move 3i Atlas through space move the blood through your veins. Gravity keeps your feet on the ground. Electromagnetic forces hold your atoms together. The weak and strong nuclear forces keep the particles in your atomic nuclei from flying apart. You're held together by the same forces that hold stars together, that hold galaxies together, that shape the structure of the universe itself. And right now, those forces are gently pulling you towards sleep, toward rest, toward the restoration your body needs. Don't fight that pull. You wouldn't fight gravity, would you? You wouldn't try to will yourself to float off into the air. You accept gravity. You work with it. You let it do what it does. The pull towards sleep is just as natural, just as fundamental, just as worthy of your surrender. There's a breathing rhythm that's particularly conducive to rest. You don't have to adopt it, but you can if you'd like. Breathe in slowly for a count of 4. Hold gently for a count of 4. Breathe out slowly for a count of 6 or 8. Pause for a count of 2. In 2, 3, 4. Hold 2, 3, 4. Out 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Pause 2. This rhythm, with the exhale longer than the inhale, activates your parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest system, the calm and restore system. It's the opposite of the fight or flight response. It's the signal to your body that you're safe, that you can let go, that you can rest. But don't force it. Don't make it work. If it feels natural, follow it. If not, let your breath find its own rhythm. Trust that your body knows what it needs. 3i Atlas doesn't think about its rotation. It doesn't plan its sublimation. It simply does what ice does when it's warmed, what matter does when it's spinning, what cosmic objects do when they move through space. You can be like that. You can simply do what bodies do when they're ready to rest, without thinking about it, without planning it, without trying to control it. Just allow it. The images of Three-Eye Atlas come to us carried by light. Photons that bounced off the comet, traveled millions of miles through space, passed through Earth's atmosphere, and finally struck the sensors in our telescopes. Light itself is a wave, an oscillation of electric and magnetic fields propagating through space. Another rhythm, another pattern. And light has different frequencies, different rhythms. Red light oscillates slowly, relatively speaking. Blue light oscillates faster. The full spectrum from red to violet is just different speeds of oscillation, different rhythms in the electromagnetic field. We see by detecting these rhythms. Our eyes contain cells that resonate with specific frequencies of light, like tuning forks responding to sound. When light of the right frequency arrives, the cells respond, sending signals to our brain, and we perceive color, shape, form. But right now, in the darkness behind your closed eyes, you're not perceiving light. You've let go of that sense. You've turned inward, away from the external world of light and form. This too is part of the rhythm. Waking consciousness is outward focused. Sleeping consciousness is inward focused. Both are necessary. Both are part of the cycle. In the deepest parts of the ocean, there's no light at all. Complete darkness. The water above absorbs every photon before it can reach those depths. And yet life exists there. Strange, beautiful creatures adapted to the dark. They don't need light to exist. They've found other ways. In the darkness of sleep, you too become like those deep-sea creatures. You don't need external light. You don't need sensory input. You turn to other sources, dreams, internal processing, the deep work of restoration that can only happen when the lights are off and the world is shut out. This is healthy. This is necessary. This is part of being human. The rhythm of sleep isn't constant throughout the night. You cycle through different stages: light sleep, deep sleep, REM sleep. Each stage has its purpose. Each contributes to restoration in its own way. And you cycle through these stages multiple times per night. Each cycle lasts about 90 minutes, 5 or 6 cycles in a full night's sleep. Another rhythm, another pattern, woven into the fabric of your biology. You don't control these cycles. You don't choose when to enter deep sleep or when to dream. Your brain handles all of that, following ancient programming refined over millions of years of mammalian evolution. All you have to do is give your brain the opportunity, lie down, close your eyes, quiet your mind, and let the system do what it knows how to do. Trust it, the way you trust your heart to beat, your lungs to breathe, your cells to metabolize. These things happen without your conscious intervention. Sleep is the same. Three-Eye Atlas is following its own programming. The laws of physics encoded into the structure of reality itself. It doesn't have to try to orbit. It doesn't have to remember to sublimate. It just does, automatically, inevitably, naturally. Be like Three-Eye Atlas, be natural, be automatic, be inevitable in your descent into rest. The universe doesn't hurry, it doesn't rush. It's been here for nearly 14 billion years, and it will be here for trillions more. It has all the time in the world, all the time in the universe, actually. You have time too, enough time to rest, enough time to sleep, enough time to let go. There's nowhere else you need to be, nothing else you need to do, no one you need to be, except exactly who you are right now in this moment, drifting peacefully towards sleep. The rhythm carries you, the pattern holds you, the cosmic dance includes you, and it's guiding you gently, patiently, lovingly toward the rest you need and deserve. Let it guide you, let the rhythm carry you, let the pattern enfold you. You're doing so well. You're allowing this to happen. You're surrendering to the natural flow of things, and that's all you ever need to do. Just allow. Just surrender, just flow like a river flows to the sea, like a leaf falls in autumn, like ice sublimates into vapor in the warmth of the sun. Natural, inevitable, perfect. We're deep in the journey now, deep in the night, deep in the story of Three-Eye Atlas, and deep in your own story of rest. You've been listening for a long time, or perhaps you haven't been listening at all. Perhaps you've been drifting in and out, catching some words and missing others, floating in that beautiful space between consciousness and sleep. Wherever you are, it's perfect. This story will still be here. These words will continue whether you hear them or not. And that's fine. That's more than fine. That's exactly as it should be. Let's talk about time for a while. Time is a strange thing when you really think about it, or rather when you don't think about it too much, when you let it be the mystery it truly is. For you, right now, time might feel slow, stretched out, elastic. Minutes might feel like hours, or hours might feel like minutes. In the liminal space between waking and sleeping, time loses its usual structure. For Three-Eye Atlas, time is different. It's been traveling for perhaps millions of years. What are a few months passing through our solar system compared to that? A blink, a heartbeat. A moment so brief, it's almost not there at all. But in that brief moment, everything changes, from dark to light, from frozen to active, from invisible to seen. A lifetime of transformation compressed into a few months. Both experiences are valid. The long, patient journey through the dark, and the brief, brilliant awakening in the light, both are part of the story. Your life contains both kinds of time too. Long stretches of quiet continuity, where days blend into each other, where nothing much seems to happen. And brief moments of intensity, of change, of transformation, where everything suddenly shifts. Both are necessary. Both are beautiful. The quiet stretches give context to the intense moments. The intense moments give meaning to the quiet stretches. Right now, you're in a quiet stretch, a moment of non-doing, a space of just being. And that's restorative. That's where healing happens, where integration occurs, where the lessons of the day settle into your cells and become part of who you are. Sleep is like a long, slow river carrying you from one day to the next. You don't notice the movement, but it's there. You're being carried, you're being transported, you're traveling even as you lie perfectly still. Three-Eye Atlas is traveling too, of course. Always traveling, never still. Even when it was in the darkest part of its journey, in the coldest reaches between the stars, it was moving, patiently crossing vast distances. Making progress measured in light years over millions of years. Progress doesn't always feel like progress. Sometimes it's so slow you can't perceive it. Sometimes you feel like you're standing still even though you're actually moving. But the movement is real, the progress is happening. Trust that even when you can't see it, even when it feels like nothing is changing. Your body is always working, always healing, always growing and repairing and adapting. Every night while you sleep, millions of processes unfold, cells divide, toxins are cleared, memories are consolidated, the immune system patrols and repairs. You don't have to manage any of this, you don't have to think about it or control it or even understand it. It just happens. Your body knows what to do. This is one of the great gifts of being alive, that so much is handled for you, that you don't have to consciously beat your heart or digest your food or regulate your temperature, that intelligence is built into every cell, every system, every process. You can trust that intelligence. You can let go and let it work. The same intelligence that built you in your mother's womb, that grew you from a single cell into the complex organism you are now, that has kept you alive and functioning for years or decades. That intelligence knows how to help you sleep. It knows how to guide you into rest. So let it. Stop trying to help. Stop trying to make it happen. Just step aside and let the intelligence of your body do what it does so well. 3i Atlas isn't trying to be a comet. It just is one. It's not trying to sublimate or to create a coma or to reflect sunlight. It's just doing what matter does under the conditions it finds itself in. You can just be too. Just be a human body resting. Just be a living system recovering from the day. Just be exactly what you are, doing exactly what you naturally do when the lights are low and the world is quiet. Nothing forced, nothing artificial, just natural processes unfolding at their own pace, in their own way. The photos of 3i Atlas capture moments in time, snapshots, the state of the comet at a particular instant. But between those snapshots, countless tiny changes are occurring. Every second, more ice sublimates, more dust is released, the coma shifts and evolves. Change is constant. Change is always happening, even when we can't see it. You're changing too right now. Your cells are changing. Your brain state is changing. Your relationship to waking consciousness is changing. Moment by moment, breath by breath, you're different than you were. And that's all right. That's more than all right. Change is the nature of existence. Nothing stays the same. Nothing can stay the same. The universe itself is change, is flow, is endless transformation. Fighting that is like fighting the current of a river. You can do it, but it's exhausting. And in the end, the current always wins. The river always reaches the sea. But flowing with the current, that's effortless. That's peaceful. That's how you move with grace through life. Right now, the current is pulling you toward sleep, pulling you toward rest, pulling you toward the restoration your body and mind need. Flow with it. Don't fight it. Let the current take you. Imagine yourself in that river now, warm water, gentle current. You're floating on your back, looking up at the night sky. Stars above, water below, and you're being carried slowly, steadily toward the sea. You don't have to swim, you don't have to steer, you just float. The river knows where it's going. The river has been flowing for eons. It knows the way. Trust the river, trust the current, trust the journey. All around you, the water is dark and comfortable. It holds you up. It supports your weight. You don't have to do anything. The water does the work. And above you, the stars, millions of them, billions. 3i Atlas is up there somewhere, though you can't see it with your naked eye. It's too faint, too far away, but it's there, following its own current, flowing with its own river of gravity and momentum through the cosmic dark. You're both travelers, both flowing, both trusting the currents that carry you. There's something profoundly peaceful in that shared experience, in knowing that across all the vast distances of space, you and 3i Atlas are participating in the same fundamental reality, following the same laws, surrendering to the same forces. You're not alone in this. Nothing is alone in this. Everything in the universe is connected, part of the same great web of cause and effect, part of the same unfolding story. And right now, your part in that story is to rest, to let go, to drift. So drift. Let the river carry you. Let the current guide you. Let the water hold you. There's no destination you need to reach. No place you need to be. No goal you need to achieve. Just this moment. Just this breath. Just this gentle floating in the dark, warm waters of rest. The story continues around you. 3i Atlas continues its journey. The universe continues its eternal dance, but you don't have to pay attention to any of it. You can just be here, just be quiet, just be at peace. You're safe, you're held, you're exactly where you need to be. And if you haven't fallen asleep yet, that's perfectly fine. There's no schedule, no timeline, no right or wrong moment for sleep to arrive. It will come when it comes, like dawn comes, like spring comes, inevitable, natural, perfect in its timing. All you have to do is remain open to it, Remain receptive, remain willing, and you are willing. I can feel that. You're here, you're listening or not listening, you're resting or trying to rest or somewhere in between, and all of that is perfect. Every state is valid. Every moment is complete in itself. You don't need to rush to the next moment. You can be fully here in this one for as long as it lasts. And when it's time to move to the next moment, you will. Naturally, automatically, without effort. Just like Three-Eye Atlas moves through space. Just like rivers flow to the sea, just like leaves fall from trees, natural, inevitable, perfect. You're doing beautifully. You're exactly where you should be. You're perfect just as you are. Rest now. Rest deeply. Let the current carry you wherever it needs to take you. Let go. Everything is connected. Every part reflects every other part. The universe is a hall of mirrors showing itself to itself in infinite ways. Three-Eye Atlas reflects sunlight. That's how we see it. Photons from the sun strike its coma, bounce off particles of dust, and travel to our telescopes. We see Three-Eye Atlas not directly, but as a reflection, an echo of sunlight shaped by ice and dust from beyond our solar system. Your consciousness right now is also a kind of reflection. Your brain is taking sensory input, the sound of my voice or the absence of sound, or the feeling of your body against the bed, and creating an experience, an internal reflection of the external world. But as you drift deeper, that reflection becomes less distinct, less focused. The boundaries between internal and external blur. You're not sure anymore if you're hearing my voice or imagining it, if you're thinking thoughts or dreaming, if you're awake or asleep. This blurring is natural. It's part of the transition. Like twilight, when day reflects into night and night reflects into day, and for a while they're both present, intermingled, inseparable. Three-Eye Atlas came from the darkness and entered the light. Soon it will return to darkness. For a while, it exists in both states, still mostly dark and cold, but touched by light and warmth. Transitional, in between. You're in a transitional state too, not fully awake, not fully asleep, existing in both worlds, belonging completely to neither. And this is a beautiful place to be, a liminal space, a threshold. Thresholds are powerful places, doorways, gateways, places where transformation happens. You step through a threshold and you're different on the other side. You're crossing a threshold now, from waking to sleeping, from doing to being, from complexity to simplicity. With each breath, with each moment, you move a little further across. There's no need to rush this crossing. Thresholds deserve respect. They deserve to be experienced fully, not rushed through. Linger here in the in-between. Notice how it feels, this state of not quite awake, not quite asleep. It's peaceful, isn't it? There's a quality to this state that's unique, a softness, a gentleness, like looking at the world through gauze, through mist. Everything is present but muted. Everything is real but dreamlike. The ancient Greeks had a word for this state, hypnagogia, the transitional state between wakefulness and sleep. They knew it was special. They knew it was a time when the normal rules didn't apply, when creativity could flow more easily, when insights could arise, when the boundaries between conscious and unconscious became permeable. You're in hypnagogia now, or moving toward it. This is where poets and artists have found inspiration for millennia. This is where problems sometimes solve themselves. This is where the day's experiences get integrated, woven into the fabric of memory and understanding. You don't have to do anything with this state. You don't have to be creative or have insights or solve problems. You can simply experience it, simply be in it. Like floating in water that's exactly body temperature, you can't quite tell where your body ends and the water begins. Three-Eye Atlas exists in a similar kind of transitional space, not a solar system object, not quite an interstellar object anymore. It's between states. It's become hybrid, touched by our sun but not belonging to our sun, illuminated but heading back to darkness. Everything that enters a new environment is changed by it. 3i Atlas will carry the effects of this encounter with it forever. It's been warmed, stripped of some of its volatile ices, altered in its composition and structure. It will remember this visit in the only way a comet can remember, in its physical form, in the changes written into its ice and dust. You'll remember this night too, though you might not remember the details. You might not recall these specific words or images. But the experience of resting, of letting go, of being guided gently into sleep, that will be remembered by your body, by your nervous system. And the next time you need to rest, it will be a little easier. Your system will recognize the pattern, will remember how to let go. Memory is strange. It's not like a video recording, precise and unchanging. It's more like a reflection in water, recognizable but fluid, shifting with each remembering, colored by mood and context and time. What do you remember of your day? If you try to recall it, though you don't have to try, you can just let the question drift past. You'll probably find that most of it is already vague, already fading, details lost, moments blurred together. This is normal. This is how memory works. We can't hold on to everything. We're not meant to. Most of each day is meant to be released, to flow away like water, leaving behind only what truly matters. Sleep helps with this process. During sleep, your brain decides what to keep and what to let go. It's sorting through the day's experiences right now, even as you rest, filing some memories, discarding others, making connections, finding patterns. You don't have to help with this process. In fact, you can't help. It's automatic. It happens in the parts of your brain you don't have conscious access to. The deep machinery, the ancient systems, trust those systems. They've been doing this every night of your life. They know what they're doing. 3i Atlas is also following ancient patterns. The laws of physics haven't changed in billions of years. Gravity works the same way it did when the universe was young. Ice sublimates the same way. Light travels at the same speed. There's something comforting in this constancy, in knowing that some things don't change, that the fundamental rules are stable, that you can rely on them. You can rely on sleep too. It's been part of biological life for hundreds of millions of years. Every creature with a nervous system sleeps or does something like sleeping. It's as fundamental as eating, as breathing. It's not optional. It's built into the design. So let it happen. Let the design unfold. Let the ancient patterns play out as they've played out countless times before. You're not the first person to drift into sleep while learning about the cosmos. You're not the first to feel this mixture of wonder and drowsiness. Throughout history, humans have looked up at the stars at night and felt both awed and sleepy. Both called to understand and called to rest. Both are valid responses. Both are appropriate. You can hold both at once, curiosity and drowsiness, interest and surrender. 3i Atlas holds contradictions too. It's ancient but new to us. It's small but significant. It's following deterministic laws, but its specific path is unique. It's just ice and rock, but it's also a key to understanding the galaxy. Paradoxes are everywhere when you look closely. Nothing is simple. Everything contains multitudes, including you. You're awake and asleep, alert and drowsy, here and drifting away, all at once, all perfectly balanced on the edge of transformation. And that's beautiful. That's exactly right. Lean into that paradox. Let yourself be two things at once, or three things, or everything and nothing. The universe is vast enough to hold all contradictions, spacious enough for all possibilities. And you, right now, are a microcosm of that universe. All possibilities exist within you, waking and sleeping, consciousness and unconsciousness, thought and silence. Let them all be present. Don't choose one over the other. Just let it all be here, swirling and mixing and eventually settling into whatever form is most natural right now, like particles of dust settling out of Three-Eye Atlas's coma, slowly drifting down, finding their place, coming to rest. Not forced, not rushed, just settling. Let yourself settle. Let your thoughts settle. Let your body settle into the bed. Let your mind settle into stillness. Settling, settling, like snow settling on the ground, like sediment settling in water, gentle, inevitable, complete. You're almost there, almost fully crossed the threshold, almost completely at rest. Just a little further, just a little more letting go, just a few more breaths and you'll be all the way across, all the way into sleep, all the way home to rest. In the deepest parts of the ocean where no light reaches, where the pressure is immense, where everything is still and cold and dark, life exists. Strangely beautiful creatures adapted to the depths. They don't need light. They've never seen the sun. They live their entire lives in darkness, and that's perfect for them. That's their natural home. You're descending now into your own depths, into the quiet darkness within, where thoughts don't reach, where the pressure of the day can't follow, where everything is still. This is a good place to be, a safe place, a necessary place. Everyone needs depth. Everyone needs darkness, not the darkness of fear or sadness, but the darkness of rest, of silence, of the deep, quiet places where restoration happens. Three-Eye Atlas knows this darkness. For most of its existence, it's been surrounded by it. The darkness between stars, the profound, absolute darkness of deep space. That darkness isn't empty. It's full of potential, full of possibility, full of things waiting to be illuminated when the time is right. Your inner darkness is the same. It's not empty. It's rich with dreams and memories and insights waiting to surface. With healing that happens only in the dark. With rest that accumulates like interest in a bank account. Building resources you'll draw on when you wake. Let yourself sink into that darkness now. Let it surround you. Let it hold you. There's nothing to fear here. Nothing that can harm you. Just depth. Just quiet. Just peace. The pressure at the bottom of the ocean is tremendous, but creatures adapted to it don't feel crushed. They're built for that pressure. It's normal to them. It's home. You're built for this too, for the depth of sleep, for the darkness of rest. Your body knows how to exist here. Your mind knows how to let go. So let go. Deeper now, deeper, down into the quiet, down into the dark, down where words don't reach, down where thoughts dissolve, down where there's only being, only existing, only rest. Three-Eye Atlas moves through space, silent, patient, alone but not lonely, complete in itself, needing nothing, just being what it is. You can be like that now, needing nothing, complete, just being. In the deep darkness, sound travels differently. Slowly, with echoes, everything is muffled and distant. My voice is distant now too. Perhaps you can barely hear it. Perhaps you've already drifted beyond it, and that's perfect. You don't need to follow anymore. You don't need to listen. You can just be, in the darkness, in the quiet, in the deep. Time moves differently here, slower or faster, or not at all. It's hard to tell. Minutes might be hours, hours might be minutes. It doesn't matter. Time is irrelevant in the depths. Only the eternal now exists, only this moment. This breath, this heartbeat, and then the next, and the next. Each one complete in itself, each one perfect, each one carrying you deeper into rest. Three-Eye Atlas rotates slowly in the darkness, patient, eternal, following paths laid down millions of years ago. You rotate too through cycles of sleep, through stages and rhythms, following patterns older than consciousness, older than thought. Let the patterns unfold. Let the cycles turn. Let the rotation carry you around and around, deeper and deeper, down and down into the quiet heart of rest, where nothing needs to happen, where nothing needs to be done, where you can finally let go of everything and just be quiet, be still, be at peace. The darkness is complete now, the silence is total, and you're held in it, safe, warm, perfect. Rest now, deeply, completely rest. Everything returns, everything cycles, nothing is ever truly lost, only transformed. The water you drink today fell as rain last week or last year, or perhaps 1,000 years ago. It's been ocean and cloud and river and ice. It's cycled through countless forms, but it's always been water. Always been those same molecules dancing through the hydrological cycle, returning again and again. 3i Atlas is part of cycles too. It was formed from material ejected by dying stars, carbon forged in the heart of a red giant, oxygen created in a supernova explosion, ice condensed from gas in the disk around a young star. All of it recycled, all of it reused. The universe doesn't waste anything. It transforms everything endlessly, cycling matter and energy through form after form. You're part of these cycles too. The calcium in your bones was created in an exploding star. The iron in your blood was forged in a stellar furnace. You're made of stardust, not metaphorically, but literally. You're recycled cosmos. And every night, you participate in the smaller cycle of waking and sleeping, day and night, activity and rest, doing and being. This cycle is as necessary as any other, as important as the water cycle, as fundamental as the seasons. Without rest, there can be no activity. Without sleep, there can be no waking. The cycle requires both. You can't have one without the other. So honor this part of the cycle, this necessary darkness, this essential rest. The seasons turn. Spring becomes summer, becomes autumn, becomes winter, and then spring again. The cycle continues, reliable, eternal. Each season has its gifts. Summer brings growth, autumn brings harvest, winter brings rest, and spring brings renewal. You're in your winter now, your season of rest, of going inward, of lying dormant while restoration happens in the deep. This too shall pass. Morning will come. Spring will return. But right now, it's winter. It's night. It's time for rest. Don't rush towards spring. Don't long for morning. Be fully here in this winter night. Experience it completely. Let it give you what it has to give. The moon waxes and wanes. Full moon to new moon to full moon again. Light to dark to light. Visible to invisible to visible. But the moon is always there. Even when you can't see it, even in the dark of the new moon, it's still there. Still whole. Still following its path. You're like that too. Even when you disappear into sleep, even when consciousness fades, you're still here. Still whole. Still following your path through the night. Nothing is lost in the darkness. You're just invisible for a while. Resting in the new moon phase of your daily cycle. Gathering strength for the waxing that will come with morning. The tides rise and fall, pulled by the moon's gravity, responding to forces they can't see but can't resist. Your breathing rises and falls too, in and out, in and out. Another tide, another rhythm pulled by invisible forces. You don't control the ocean's tides, they happen, whether you want them to or not, whether you're aware of them or not. Your descent into sleep is the same. It's happening. It's inevitable. You don't have to make it happen, you just have to allow it. And you are allowing it. You've been allowing it. That's why you're here, in this deep, quiet place. Drifting, floating, held by the darkness, like the ocean holds water. Seasons turn, tides flow, the moon waxes and wanes. And you move through your cycles too. Each day a little life, each night a little death and rebirth. But nothing truly dies, nothing truly ends. Everything transforms, everything continues. The atoms in your body will exist for billions of years after your current form is gone. They'll become other things, other forms. They'll cycle through the cosmos just as they cycled through the cosmos before they became you. For now they're you. For now they're arranged in this particular pattern called your body. And right now, that pattern is resting. Those atoms are held in stillness. That energy is turned inward. This is temporary. Everything is temporary, but that's not sad. That's beautiful. The temporary is what makes each moment precious, what makes each breath significant. This breath, right now, flowing in, flowing out, will never come again. It's unique, unrepeatable, a moment in time that exists only once and then is gone forever. And yet it's also eternal, because it's part of the cycle, part of the pattern. This breath is connected to every breath you've ever taken and every breath you'll ever take. It's part of the great breathing of the cosmos itself. Stars breathe too in their way. They draw in matter, fuse it in their cores, breathe out light and heat and heavier elements. They live and die and are reborn in cycles spanning billions of years. Three-Eye Atlas remembers a star perhaps, the star it was born around. That star might be gone now, collapsed or exploded or faded away, but its legacy lives on in Three-Eye Atlas, in the particular mix of ices and dust that makes up this traveler from afar. What stars do you remember? What has formed you? What distant origins live on in you, shaping who you are, determining the particular mix of elements, physical and metaphorical, that makes you unique? You don't have to answer. You don't have to think about it. Just let the question drift through your consciousness like a leaf drifting on water. Notice it, let it pass, let it go. Everything passes, everything drifts away eventually. Thoughts, sensations, even consciousness itself drifting away now, fading into the background, becoming less important, less necessary. In the cycles of nature, there's always a time of letting go. Trees let go of their leaves, animals let go of old fur. The earth lets go of each season to make room for the next. You're letting go now, of the day, of thoughts, of the need to be aware, of consciousness itself. This is natural, this is right, this is exactly what should happen at this point in the cycle. Let go. Trust the cycle. Trust that just as night follows day, just as spring follows winter, waking will follow sleeping. You'll return, you'll come back. But first this, first the letting go, first the darkness, first the rest. The cosmos cycles, the earth cycles, your body cycles. And in this moment, the cycle is carrying you deep, deep into rest, deep into the restorative darkness, deep into the place where healing happens and strength is restored. Nothing to do but surrender to it. Nothing to do but flow with it. Nothing to do but let the cycle carry you where it needs to take you. Around and around, down and down, deeper and deeper into the turning wheel of rest, into the spiral of sleep, into the cycle that brings you back to yourself, renewed, restored, ready for the next turn of the wheel. But that's later. That's tomorrow. That's the next part of the cycle. Right now, this part, this darkness, this rest, this beautiful, necessary, perfect letting go. The wheel turns, the cycle continues, and you rest in the turning. You rest in the cycle, you rest in the eternal flow of all things. Rest now, deeply, completely, in the arms of the cycle that holds all things, that carries all things, that brings all things home to themselves in the end. Home. You're home now, in the darkness, in the quiet, in the deep. Home. Space is vast, beyond any word we have for vastness. Between stars, there are distances so great that light, traveling at 186,000 miles per second, takes years, decades, centuries to cross them. 3i Atlas has been crossing such distances, moving through spaces so enormous that galaxies are just points of light, moving through emptiness so profound that it makes the word empty seem inadequate. And yet even in that emptiness there is something. Dark matter, dark energy, the quantum foam of space-time itself, the fabric of reality woven so fine we can't see the threads, but they're there, always there. You exist in vast spaces too, the space of consciousness, the space of experience, the space between thoughts, between heartbeats, between breaths. Right now, those spaces are expanding. Thoughts are coming slower, further apart, with vast, quiet spaces between them. This is good, this is perfect. These are the spaces where rest lives, where peace exists, where the mind can finally be quiet. Let the spaces expand, let the silence grow, let the emptiness fill you. Not an emptiness of lack, but an emptiness of potential, of openness, of room for whatever needs to arise. The ancient Taoists called it Wu Wei, non-doing. Not doing nothing, but doing by not doing. Allowing things to happen naturally. Getting out of the way, becoming empty so that life can flow through you unobstructed. You're practicing Wu Wei now. You're not doing sleep, you're not making rest happen, you're simply not interfering. You're allowing, you're opening, you're becoming empty and spacious. And in that emptiness, rest finds you. Sleep comes to you like water flowing downhill, like seeds finding soil, like light finding darkness. Natural, inevitable, perfect. Imagine the spaces between stars now, not as frightening voids, but as peaceful expanses, quiet, still, free from the noise and chaos of planetary systems. 3i Atlas has known this peace for millions of years, perhaps, just drifting, nothing happening, nothing changing, just existence in its purest form. No struggles, no striving, no becoming, just being. You can know this peace too, right here, right now. You can be like 3i Atlas in the depths of space, just existing, just being, nothing more needed. The universe is mostly empty space. The atoms that make up everything, your body, the earth, the stars, are mostly empty space too. The nucleus of an atom is tiny. The electrons orbit at vast distances, relatively speaking. Between them, nothing, just space, just emptiness. And yet from this emptiness, everything arises, all form, all matter, all existence. You're mostly empty space. Did you know that? If you compressed all the actual matter in your body, removed all the space between atoms, you'd be smaller than a grain of sand. The rest is space, emptiness, nothing. And yet you're here, solid, real, whole. How can emptiness create such fullness? How can nothing give rise to everything? This is the mystery, the koan, the question with no answer. Don't try to solve it, just rest in it. Just let the mystery be mysterious. Between your thoughts right now, there's space. Vast space, infinite space. You might not notice it usually, but it's always there. Thoughts arise from that space, exist for a moment, and disappear back into it. And in deep sleep, when thoughts stop entirely, that space remains. Pure, undisturbed, infinite. That's where you're going now. Into that space. Into that infinite, peaceful emptiness that underlies everything. It's not somewhere else. It's not somewhere you have to travel to. It's right here. It's always here. You're just noticing it now, sinking into it, becoming one with it. The boundaries are dissolving between you and the space, between awareness and emptiness, between being and non-being. This is okay. This is safe. This is where deep rest lives. Let the boundaries dissolve. Let yourself expand into the infinite. Let the space that's inside you recognize the space that's outside you and realize they're the same space. They've always been the same space. 3i Atlas is tiny in the vastness of space, a speck, a mote of dust. And yet it's also the universe experiencing itself, the cosmos looking at the cosmos, matter conscious of matter. You're the same. Tiny and vast, insignificant and infinite, a speck in the cosmic ocean and also the ocean itself. Both. Always both. Hold that paradox gently or let it go. Either way, it doesn't matter. Nothing matters here in the infinite spaces. Nothing needs to matter. Just space, just openness, just vast, comfortable, peaceful emptiness. Rest in the emptiness, rest in the vastness, rest in the infinite spaces between everything, where silence lives, where peace exists, where you can finally, completely, utterly let go of everything, every thought, every sensation, every need to be anyone or anywhere or anything at all, just space, just emptiness, just nothing, beautiful nothing, perfect nothing, infinite nothing that contains everything. Rest there, stay there, be there. In the vast, quiet, peaceful spaces where stars are born and die, where Three-Eye Atlas drifts for eons, where you, finally, can simply be. Nothing more, nothing less, just being in the infinite forever.